Welcome back to More Dates with Dita. I was really reflecting on even just reading the intro yesterday, and I really started contemplating on how much people like Dita Von Teese, women like Dita Von Teese, have actually influenced me and inspired me throughout my life. Really thinking about living in your most authentic self. And when people think about that, you immediately think about like where you came from, and you can still be true to parts of that. But if it doesn't resonate with who you actually are or who you want to be, it is so vital and so empowering to reinvent yourself. And I've reinvented myself so many times. I've had so many changes of names and searching to find something that feels like me. And through years, it's a lot of tragic layers that led me to who I am today. And I'm really proud of who I am today. And I'm so different than where I came from or anyone that I came up around. And I feel like my most powerful, influential people in my life, people that inspire me the most, are all women who reinvented themselves. If you think about some of the most powerful women on the planet, they have all reinvented themselves. They've all literally built themselves from who they were when they were young, and they've literally demolished that, broken it down, tried multiple things to get it right, something that feels like themselves, and then eventually landed upon this amazing structure of a woman that they built themselves. They've changed their names, they've changed their hair colors, they've changed their personas, and I think there is really something magical and powerful about that. So if you're one of those women, I see you, and I think that's really, really magical. So we're going to continue today, but I did just want to touch on that because I really started reflecting on that last night about how much that actually I can relate to that myself, and I'm sure that some of you can as well. Strive for glamour. Glamour is enchantment, wonder. It is standing out from the crowd. Glamour is a thing of beauty, but it's not about being born beautiful. Glamour does not belong to those who naturally are stunning, or to the rich or to the young. Hollywood has no monopoly on glamour. Glamour is the creation of beauty and allure, and anyone can achieve it. So glamorize. Beauty is duty. Throughout my life, I have certainly heard I am beautiful and not beautiful in equal measures. I wasn't someone who received much attention before I learned how to do all of this, and that's a fact. I say enhance what others might deem less than wow. What a thrill in artifice. It's one of my favorite words. I love artifice in all of its manifestations, especially when lavishly and deftly rendered. I admire the engineering feat of an architectural spectacle such as the Eiffel Tower. I treasure standing before one of Edgar Degas's painted dancers, or studying the exquisite hand-bead work of a couture gown by my friend Elie Saab. I have deep respect for craftsmanship, for the artistry, not only imagined, but come to life at the hands of a gifted individual. Consider Grable, Lamar, Hayworth, or Dietrich. These are women who redefined the very notion of beauty. As a child, watching their films on Saturday afternoon television, I too recognized that I could transform, reinvent, and in doing so, live the life I've always dreamed of living. Ooh, I like this part. That is why I have always found the greatest inspiration and kinship in those brave shapeshifters, those famously infamous eccentrics, lauded and labosted for breaking the rules of dress, of behavior, of beauty and glamour, who endure in our imaginations as constant sources of inspiration, despite their unconventional looks. One icon who has irrefutably reached the heights of transformative arts is Madonna. Naysayers like to go on about how she's not the world's greatest singer. Who cares? She's never made such a claim. On the contrary, from day one, she proved she was someone to be reckoned with by focusing the attention on her other assets. She is truly a genius of reinvention, a master student of studying other eras, other genres. Her attention to detail is bar none. That ambition, that desire, and willingness to take risk against accepted standards is highly appealing to me, because it tells a story. There has to be something, an element of substance, for there to be a story, an individual with a past, an individual writing her own ticket to life. It's the story that makes these beautifully eccentric creatures so hypnotic. I prefer to talk to the weirdos and hang out with the eccentrics. There is beauty and glamour in them. In the adventures and risks that they have taken, I want to know how they made their mark. Don't just work with what you have, accentuate and exaggerate. If perfection is about being free of all flaws, then the only flaws worth fretting over are apathy and self-doubt. Consider how our state of self, self-worth, and self-identity is so tied to how we feel. Then consider how you feel when you do something, anything, swipe on lipstick, set your hair, spritz on a sensuous scent. You can feel the difference between doing something and doing nothing, right? Feel beautiful and you will look it too. And I always say that. I always say, if you look like shit, you're gonna feel like shit. And even if you feel like shit, if you look good, you'll feel less like shit. I adore those who have a sense of fun, a sense of theater. That's what it is, theater. They are living in their very own theatrical review, or perhaps it's their own movie, enjoying every minute of artifice in their starring role. That is beauty, because you're standing up for yourself. It's those who take a risk and take chances who achieve greatness. Those who play it safe never can. Only mediocrity is safe from ridicule. Dare to be different. This is a little excerpt from one of her friends, a dear friend of hers, Ali Madavi. He's a painter, illustrator, filmmaker, fashion designer, and the artistic director of the Crazy Horse in Paris. He said, "People think you need to suffer to be an artist, but you have to be in this life to create. You cannot create if you are always in depression or deep anxiety. Most artists are trying to create a parallel universe of their own vision of the world. Beauty can be something you can construct. I am always fascinated by women who transform themselves through sheer will, particularly those who take their metamorphosis into the sublime. The highest level of beauty is not one that is given to you, but the one you achieve. You can use artifice in the most authentic and relevant way. It can reveal who you are." She also goes on to say that she is always questioned like what it would look like if she was more normal. So she did dress up as a normal girl for Halloween, which it looks ridiculous because that's not who she is and you can tell. But she also went on to say that she really that night attracted men that she would never date because she said, "It got me thinking about how we present ourselves into the world and what we attract with our drag." And that's so true. You are really going to attract things that you put out. And so you have to think about that as well. Whenever someone is trying to change me, I draw strength from what I call the Dietrich rule. Marlene Dietrich was never photographed as anything but Marlene Dietrich. She stuck to her guns, and how lucky we are now. I was painfully shy growing up, yet I realized that if I was going to live fully, I had to live on my own terms. It's not always easy, sticks and stones and all of that. I am not about to compromise just so that sad critics can feel better. Do I want to be part of their clubs? Hell, no. Come to think of it, it's a compliment if I do not fit into their ideal of beauty. I have my signature look and I'm sticking to it because it's the look that is 100% me and 100% created by me. With this guidebook, I'm sharing my tricks with those of you who prefer not to conform to the standards of any club. Even on those days when you're feeling the most beautiful, not everyone is going to agree. They may never. It requires a certain courage, a certain craziness to be able to live a life without compromise, to step out the door and risk ridicule. Consider it a compliment to be mocked for being different. Energy is never expended on mediocrity. The best thing, the most important thing, is to be true to yourself. I encourage you to experiment. Only through trial and error can you truly find out what it means for you. It's also a heck of a lot of fun. Everyone else can go ahead and live in their beige movie. I prefer mine in Technicolor. They might all look at me, and they might all talk about me, and they might think I'm weird. And you know what? I couldn't possibly disappoint them. So let's not. Instead, let's show them how it's done. So that was the last bit of the intro, and next time we will start chapter 1. Bye.